Well, there will be no Happy Monday video tomorrow. I have some things to do that I won't want to be bothered with this. I was actually going to do something different. Those of you that know me for a while, I only had one Uncle Brian lifter so far. I just turned the volume down on the football game. Our Patriots suck. Anyway, in fact, I've been channel surfing. I got to go back and catch up, see if, what the score is now at this point. There was something on PBS. Anyway, started watching it, and I've been more interested in that than the Patriots game. I'm looking forward to the game later with Dallas. Maybe it'll finally win with Dak Prescott out, not playing. So I said, well, I'll do a little something so I can, give my 5, yes, 5, but I'm not bragging. 5 loyal, faithful, loving, trusting, devoted Uncle Brian groupies. I can give these guys a little something and not deprive them, of missing out, on a Happy Monday video tomorrow morning. I owe it to them. Like I've always said, without the 5 of you, I would be nothing. I would not be as world famous as I am on here. I would not be Uncle Brian. I would just be a regular, average, everyday Brian. I'm eternally grateful for you 5 guys. So I was going to do that, and I was actually going to talk about the holidays now, coming up. I'm a big kid at heart. And I said, wait a minute, let me check on something. I know Paul Diamond gets a kick out of this when I say it. I heard Jabba hasn't done much in a while. Last video was a while back. I caught it well after the fact of when it went up. But somebody told me about it, and I went and I watched it. Go ahead, Paul, you can laugh. And that's when I saw it. And I think it was in response to something I said on a video where I did question how he had said, I had seen one previously, why he had to fill out an application and turn it in and wait 48 hours to get approval to be able to buy a trailer home. Didn't make sense to me. You're buying it cash. And I guess Jabba saw my video, came back and explained it to me. That's the way it is in New Jersey. They have different laws, I guess, than they do here in Massachusetts or any other state. He proved me wrong. Hey, I was man enough to admit I was wrong. And, and then I hadn't heard anything. And I did offer some helpful advice, filled him in on, what to expect moving in a community like that where there will be guidelines to follow. So he doesn't, he'll understand that his way of living is going to have to change or else he will have some problems there. And after what he's been through and all this time, the last thing he needs is more problems in his life. I offered constructive criticism concerning he really needs to quit smoking. He really needs to quit smoking. And I said, let me go check something. So I don't get notifications, I don't subscribe. When I'm told about things, hey, put up a new video, go check it out. Before they used to tell me what it was about. And then I got to a point, listen, just go watch it for yourself. So that's what I do when it happens. There's lives. If it wasn't for 2 guys on here, there's going to be one more Uncle Brian lifter before I call it a night tonight. And I see what goes on with his live streams. And it gives me the opportunity to fast forward, skim through it, get enough bits and pieces to kind of have an idea of what's going on, So I said, let me go check. So I went and I checked. And I had to purposely go out of my way to go to his channel. And there was no new video since the one where he explained to me that, how it is in New Jersey, why you got to fill out an application and wait 48 hours. Nothing new since then. So I said, let me go check his community. Maybe there's an update on his community. And I saw this when he first put it up. This was like a week ago. Yeah, 7 days ago. A week ago. And like I said, I had a little issue with timelines of things, the way he had explained the details of the procedure and how it was going to happen and when it was going to happen. And something seemed a bit off, but hey, I guess I was wrong. And I remember seeing this. And I admit, when I first saw this on his community, I really didn't pay too much attention to what he had said, what he typed. I looked more at the picture, and I admit I did kind of laugh. I said, look at him all proud, hands on his hips, showing off his house, proving everybody wrong, especially me. But this time I read this, and something doesn't make sense to me. Maybe it's me. I'm too stupid to be able to understand this. If anyone can understand this and explain it to me, I'm willing to listen, or in this case, I'll be willing to read what you say in a comment. Now, this was 7 days ago. Keep in mind, I kind of pay attention to timelines of things and what's feasible based on money transfers, who's owed money, what they are willing to go along with in this process that I just don't understand. This is my new, you probably already read it while I'm running my mouth. This is my new home. We'll buy it in 48 hours. We'll be inside it tomorrow at 11 a.m. Closing on my house on the 15th. Proceeds will be wired directly toy account. So I'm going to start at the beginning, and I'm really trying to wrap my mind around this. Let's break this down and try to follow a timeline that, to me, doesn't make any sense. And I don't understand how these people are willing to go along with something without any sense of surety in it, without any full closing and feeling comfortable with the outcome. And they're willing to let someone live there for free until this closing. This is my new home. We'll buy it in 48 hours. We'll be inside it tomorrow at 11. Closing on my house on the 15th. Proceeds will be wired directly toy account. Now let's go back to the beginning. This is my new home. We'll buy it in 48 hours. We'll be inside it tomorrow. So the guy's, he's buying the home in 48 hours. But the seller of the trailer home is going to let him move in the next day in 24 hours. And he's willing to do that, knowing that the closing won't take place until the 15th, which when he posted this, 15th is still 2 weeks away. So Job is going to be living there for 2 weeks free before his house is officially closed and sold. And then the proceeds will be wired directly to toy account. I have to assume maybe he has a second account for his Hot Wheels cars. And then this seller will get the money for his trailer home. In the meantime, he doesn't have to pay the seller of the trailer. He doesn't have to start paying the rent for that concrete slab, and that concrete slab only, and that trailer home on it, which is the only thing he purchased. He doesn't own any of those leaves and tree and light pole out front. That's the property of the trailer park, even though he has to maintain the proximity around that trailer home. I explained to Job, it's going to be a whole different way of life. I hope he can deal with it, he understands it, he can adapt to it and live happily ever after there in his senior years. I don't understand this. Things do happen. I had my personal experience in selling homes, buying homes. I know the procedure, the timelines, the people involved. Everything from home inspection to title search to a lawyer fee to a realtor fee to get to a point where you can set up a closing and then it takes place and it's over and done with. I also received quite a bit of information from my ex-wife's nephew, Danny. He's been in real estate for like 12, 13 years. And that's how I got a lot of other information, even a little more detailed, being on the inside than I knew, being on the outside as a buyer and a seller. And he's told me there were times when things fall through at the last minute. Said, Uncle, they still call me Uncle. I'm on good terms with my ex and her family, and I still call them my brother-in-laws and sister-in-laws. We get along fine at family events. I get along good with my ex's boyfriend. He's a decent guy. She gets along with Auntie Billy. We all talk. No animosity. She's a great mom. Always has been. Always will be. I got nothing bad to say about her. And he said, you know, Uncle, there's times that everything's all set up. Closings in my office here at our real estate agency. I got a call. The lawyer's on the way. At times, a few hours before the closing. Phone rings and it all falls apart. The buyer changed his mind at the last minute. At times, the seller gets maybe a little too sentimental when they can't part with their house. They decide they don't want to sell it after all. They back out. They've backed out on both sides. Now, whoever backs out is going to be responsible for all the money associated with getting it to a point of closing. The time involved for the realtor, the time involved for the bank, lending institution. They had to do all the processing for a mortgage. They get compensated for their time. The cost of a home inspector, the cost of all the research on the title search, the paperwork, the people involved, and it can be quite costly. So the person that backs out last minute like that, he says, it's happened a week before, it's happened a day before, and it's happened hours before. I think it's closer to 13 years experience. You know, it's happened at least 4 times. In every one of these scenarios I just told you, Uncle, it does happen. So there is no guarantee that this closing is going to take place on the 15th, and that's still, what, about a week away, right? Something like that. Pretty close to it, 5 days, 4 days. I'm not even sure what date today is. I didn't really check. I'm more concerned with checking the weather. Fucking 27 degrees this morning. You know, last week it was in the fucking 70s all week. Good old New England, you gotta love it. So there's a lot of uncertainty until the 15th. And I just don't get how, you know. Yep. 48 hours, but he's going to move in the next day. Live there for free until the 15th when it closes. No money's going to change hands until the 15th, so he hasn't bought anything. Now he's living there. He's not going to be paying rent, prorated rent for that slab, with that trailer home on it that he owns, even though he hasn't paid for it yet. And what I'm most surprised at is why, in all this time, this was a week ago, so it would have been 6 days ago. The last 6 days, not a single video. You know, he's going to show off everything. He likes to show off. Here he is showing off this house. He's going to buy in 48 hours. I thought by now he would have showed off how nice it is inside, taking people on a tour of the rooms, waddled all the way around it, you know, showed all the grounds around it and the trailer homes next to it, you know. I thought by now that would have happened. So I'm having a hard time understanding this. Hey, I'm being straight up. I'm having a hard time understanding how this timeline is, what people are willing to do. And it just does not make any sense to me. If it makes any sense to you, maybe you're smarter than I am, and you can help me out and explain it to me. And to my 5, yes 5, but I'm not bragging, 5 loyal, faithful, loving, trusting, devoted Uncle Brian groupies, I apologize for not giving you a happy Monday video tomorrow. I hope this makes up for it. And please forgive me. I'll try my best not to let it happen again. But then again, there's something that very important to me, and it's called life. That comes before YouTube. That's why life is spelled L-I-F-E. For some people, their life is spelled Y-O-U-T-U-B-E. Have a great rest of your Sunday, a great Sunday night, and I'll catch up with you on Tuesday.